Hi, I'm Carolyn, and today I want to list 5 things that you could do to plan ahead for any life changes that might happen that take you away from your garden and from producing the flowers that you love. So first of all, let's talk about the ways that might happen. Some of the obvious ways are that ill health or injury could impact your life and take a lot of time away from the time you need to be working in your garden. Or you may need to be taking care of family or relatives or even children, job or career changes could happen. So they're the obvious things. But I've been thinking, being 76 now, I don't know what made me go into the 40s, being 76 now, I do think about the future and what that might mean and what changes could mean to my gardening week. So I have, over the last probably 12 months, been thinking a lot about planning and how to work in my garden in a way that creates an easier pathway if anything should happen that I can't get outside. So number one, I have placed shrubs and larger flaxes and foliage plants and roses throughout the garden, and they provide a succession of flowers throughout the seasons, and so they provide a framework really for the rest of the garden. So that's number one. Number two, in the gaps between those, I've placed all the perennials that I love, and including some foliage plants, and also most of them are flowering plants, and they don't all flower at the same time. So that's number two. Number three are in with the perennials are the bulbs as well, and the bulbs, I'm trying now to plant my bulbs back a little bit from the front of the border so that the smaller perennials such as lavenders and geraniums and plants like that can be growing in front of the bulb foliage, so that when the bulb foliage dies down, it's not unsightly in the garden. So I'm doing that more and more and moving more bulbs back a little bit in amongst the foundation plants. So that's going to work quite well, I'm hoping. So that was number two. Number three, in the gaps I would put my ground covers along the front and in amongst for any gaps, and next week I'm going to do a video on the ground covers and take you around my garden, talk a bit about the ground covers. Now the other thing that I have in the garden coming up all the time, which I've talked about in other videos, is that I like to do some seed sowing, and some of those plants are self-seeding through the garden. So these are would be one of the most valuable things to be doing if you have a long time away from the garden, because those self-seeders would carry on filling gaps, and with you not there to be pulling out the extras that invariably pop up, they would fill the space and cut down the weeding that would need to be done, which you're obviously not going to be doing in those circumstances. So those annuals would be a very valuable addition. Now that was number 5. No, it wasn't. That was number 4. Number 5 is mulching, and I'm doing more of that now. I wasn't mulching really for the first couple of years I was here. I was busy placing my plants and changing things around too much. But now that I've got things in a more permanent position, as I'm doing my weeding round the garden, I am laying some mulch, not a thick layer, because although I've got a small garden, it can get a bit expensive if you're buying mulch. But I try and keep a layer of mulch, which is cutting down my weeding already, and hopefully in the future the weeds will get less and less. So mulching is a very good idea. It also cuts down on your watering and conserves water and keeps the plants protected both in the winter from the frost and the cold, and in the summer from the heat of the sun and the dryness. So mulch. And if you do those 5 things, the 6th one, which you might have to do as a last resort, if the first 5 are done, then the 6th one, you would be cutting down the time and expense used in the 6th point, which would be to enlist the help of family and friends, have a working bee, or have to use paid help to do those jobs that end up causing you concern or irritation because they're not being done. So I'm sure you can probably think of other things that we could add to that list, and please do add them in the comments if that's the case. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.